Welcome, everybody. We are here again, episode 8 of In Before the Lock, where we cover all things mods in the mod community. You've got Rob and Davey. We make mods. We love talking about mods. It's great to have you here on the show. Davey, what's up?
Hey, man. How's it going, Rob? Good to see you, buddy. Great,
You too.
great that we made episode 8. Unbelievable.
I know, man. We've been rocking. We're now on Facebook. A major accomplishment. It's very difficult to get on Facebook. So we've got 3 streams going right now: Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We'd love to get your comments. Your Twitch comments come in live. We can kind of bring them up on the screen. So if you guys comment on Twitch, we'll respond in real time the best we can. Otherwise, we had a ton of great comments last 2 weeks ago, and we're going to respond to some of those. Just awesome to see so much engagement from you guys, and welcome back.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing all that, man. And we're going to have a look at the agenda for the show. What are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, moving right along. So this week we're covering Jaws again because it is a hot topic these days. Ball eaters and all. We're joking. It's like, when are we going to stop talking about this? Well, it's not today. Today is not
today. Sorry, next week.
We're going to talk a little bit about just like really how the mods are coming together for Jaws. It's starting to look like it might be getting on some Godzilla levels. At least the early indications are it's going to be hot for a while.
Yeah,
we got a couple new.
It's very big.
Very big. We've got a couple new things we're going to be talking about. As I mentioned, we're going to be hitting a couple topics that you guys floated up to us in response to our show last week, and then we'll be doing this again in 2 weeks. So yeah, Davey, what are you thinking, man, on this ball eater? I know we've made a little progress, or a lot of progress, since we talked last.
Yeah.
What's new out
there? Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I think we were. I think we were talking about it again. I mean, it was very big news. And I think last show we was before anything had been revealed or announced by Trent at Interactive Pinball. And I think maybe 2 days after Trent did his first reveal of the mod. And, a lot has happened, in the last week and a half in relation to this. We were talking about this a little bit before the show, and I was sort of just going through the timeline of everything that's kind of happened. So, Trent initially came out with his reveal of the mod, and that day was just monstrous news that he'd done this and that he'd achieved what he'd achieved. And let me quickly press play on that. So I think we've got a bit of sound too. So yep. So he's revealed the mod. The mod itself is I'm sure everybody's probably aware of this already, but it's essentially a scoop that's like a half shark head scoop that eats the ball, sends it to the back of the playfield, up onto one of the ramps and down to the right flipper. Let's skip ahead so you can sort of see it a little bit more up close. So there you can see, so he's got a sculpted shark head, nicely painted. There's this bar over the top that holds the opto receivers. So the optos that were originally there for the captive ball are still there and still registering those shots, except that now that there's a scoop there to receive the ball and send it to the back of the playfield. One other thing that we weren't expecting as well is that when the ball does go down the hole, let me see if I can show where that is. Can't try and get to it. Put the ball down the hole. Come on, buddy. He's not going to do it for me, is he? But anyway, so the ball goes down. There we go. Let's see it. It goes down. Shark head shakes. All very clever. And look, this was massive news on the day. I mean, so, Trent probably had, I don't know, a month and a half to turn this around. So he's just done an absolutely ball-bustingly good job of, putting something together that works. It moves. It's got multiple coils in there to send the ball to the back of the machine. Probably a secondary, possibly staged ball at the back to make to make that vertical up kicker really quick when the ball goes down. And everybody was really impressed. So timeline wise, Trent does this reveal. It's massive news on Pinside. Everybody's going crazy. There's both positive and negative. Why isn't my video working?
We lost you.
I don't know, man. Shall I just?
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, there's both positive and negative stuff towards the mod. People saying it changes too much of the game. People concerned that it changes the rules too much. People saying, is it necessary? Is it actually fixing a problem? Those kind of things. And then a whole bunch of other people who were very excited that they finally got their shark ball eating mod that they really wanted. So massive news. I'm trying to get the timeline right. I think TWIP then came out with a reaction video to this, which I'll show as well. So let me pull that up. I don't know why, but can you pull up the TWIP ball eater reactions? Thanks, buddy.
Shark eat ball.
Cool, but the shark looks like it has a bondage gag holding its mouth open.
I want 2 of them. Did he put a fast lock from Venom on Jaws?
Can you pull that up? We're not actually showing a video, I don't think.
Awesome that someone has the
Can I, shall I pull it back? Anyway, so...
Oh, did I pull up the wrong one? Uh-oh. Well, it looks like we lost him entirely. I haven't been following this as closely. I guess actually Stern had come out with an option where you could actually like receive a ball to put into the shark's mouth. It was this topic has really.
Oh, are we still live?
Uh-oh. We're all over. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Are we back?
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
This topic has really reached a meme level status at this point. I mean, we're getting all sorts of stuff, but it's kind of died down too, right? Now that we've actually got what we've been waiting for.
Well, this is the funny thing, right? Like, so I think that reaction video came out. Trent and his buddy then streamed a demonstration of the mod on the following Monday. And then kind of like there's been no chatter about ball eating since that stream. Like let me just say, like I'm amazed and astounded and in awe of what Trent has achieved with this. But there's sort of like a secondary aspect to all of this, right? Where like the ball eating, the Jaws shark not eating the ball on Jaws was a thing. It was a pinball thing. It was a meme, as you described earlier. And it's almost like now that everyone's got it, it's kind of taken the fun out of it a little bit. Everybody's like, we can't make jokes about it anymore because now it's a thing. So, like, there's just been no talk on it since that stream.
It's like Taylor Swift. She finally got the Super Bowl. She won. And now we're done with the topic.
We're done with that now. Yeah, we're like bored. I've run out of jokes, so we're just going to move on to the next thing. Yeah, it's a little bit like that.
Well, I got a chance to play in LE at Atomic Pinball in Wood River, Illinois. Amazing place. Shout out to James and Chuck over there for getting this bad boy set up. And it's really great. I mean, I'm still not like the biggest fan of the white. I just like my own post. Not the biggest fan of the white. I was talking with Alec about like this, the chrome on this, the silver on the back glass, and then a couple other places is gorgeous. Like, why did they not go all chrome on this? It would look amazing.
Yeah,
I would personally have a really hard time making that change on my LE, but I would definitely think about it on my premium if I had it. But overall, it looks great.
Yeah.
The speaker lights actually found this really cool, and I don't know if it's going to come up in this video, but they actually communicate your progress on the chum line. So we've got the first speaker lights coming on the stern, as far as I know, And not only that, they're interactive. So they actually communicate progress in the game whenever you're getting the chum line. They look really great. So really, really overall, just as expected, a really great package for these guys on Jaws LE.
Yeah, awesome, man. And so tell me, how did you? So you obviously got a couple of games on it as well.
Yeah.
And as we've been talking about in previous weeks, you've had a bit of experience on the Pro as well. So let's just get straight to it. For you, what plays better?
Yeah, so great question, and I wasn't really prepared for it. So the upper playfield on the left, it's a really great looking thing in general. I mean, didn't necessarily pull off the idea of it being a boat as well as I would like, but it's got multiple levels to it, and there's actually a ramp off of the upper playfield to go around, and it just feels like you're really getting a lot of value out of that. For some reason, I thought the center shot, which is my favorite shot, was absent in the premium and in the LE, because I thought that's what got it up to the top, but it's actually still there. Like, I love that shot that loops around. There's a couple interesting dynamics of the upper play field where, like, if you actually let the ball drain off the flipper, it falls into the play field in a rather dangerous way. So I thought that was really cool. I don't know what else is in there, but I'll say, like, while I did come away from playing the Pro feeling like it was the best experience on a Pro I had since really getting involved in more modern Sterns back to, I think, like Mandalorian. I think the LE or the premium just felt like something I would think would be worth investing in a couple grand to get all that extra stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my camera keeps going. I've still got my mic, so I'm just going to try and work out what's going on with it. So I apologize for that, everybody. But hopefully I'll get it sorted soon.
So you and I are definitely seeing early signs of this thing being like Godzilla level modded, and I think that's a combination of what we're seeing coming out so quickly, especially really high quality stuff, or at least very complex stuff. We're also the Pinside threads are off the charts. What do you think's attributing to us already being
Well, I don't know, because we were saying it before the show, weren't we? I think probably a little bit before either of our time, Twilight Zone was considered as the most modded game of all time. And then, of course, Godzilla came along. And then, once I think that was just in terms of sort of an inspirational game to create mods for. And also, I guess, the opportunities on the playfield to work with those sort of areas on the playfield, and being able to keep within the theme nice and easily and stuff. Godzilla was just absolutely crazy in terms of the mods that were produced for it. Now, I guess everybody, particularly in the modding community, sort of recognized that about Godzilla at the time, and probably had conversations with their fellow modding friends and and customers and whoever else to work out why that was. And probably a lot of people attributed it to it being an Elwyn title. Elwyn titles, there's, like I said, there's many aspects, but the fact that it was an Elwyn game sold in huge numbers, and so therefore the market for those mods was going to be bigger. So mod makers were going to focus on it more as a result. So sorry about my camera, guys. I'm struggling with it at the moment. I think it's going to keep going off until I actually do something. But so I think probably in some ways the modding community was sort of waiting for that next big title from Stern to be released. And it was obviously going to make sense that it was going to be an Elwyn game. So I guess when Jaws got announced, I think that probably many people in the modding community were sort of waiting with bated breath to just then start cranking out the mods for this game. And we've really seen that. We've really seen that so far. As you said, the Pinside thread is just monumental in terms of sort of the stuff that's getting released for it.
Yeah, I don't know how much, they're thinking about the right theme for the right designer, but what works about Godzilla and works for Jaws is just like a universally approachable theme for the pinball buying demographic. I mean, you've got monsters and you've got sharks. It's like how could you go wrong? No one can not like either of those. So I think you've got a very approachable theme. You've got a classic intellectual property, very different than say like a Rush or like a Venom. It's a more niche, fan base. And then of course you've got mod makers who are like only seeing so many games come around on a 5-year span that are going to really like hit hard. So you've got people probably thinking like, I got to get in on this because like, if I'm going to make this work, whether it's a full-time thing or a part-time thing, like I need to make sure I'm in on this. So I know, some of the feedback I'm hearing out there is like a lot of this early stuff that's probably getting rushed a little bit may not be the quality that you might able to see if you wait a year. So one thing that's interesting is like, how quickly are you going to jump in on this? How long are you going to wait? And also like, what is the theme direction of your mods like going to be? Because there's going to be so much stuff. If you're like me, you probably got some of the stuff you bought for Godzilla that's no longer on there because you kind of made decisions to go a different direction over time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And, I think that there has been, some level of criticism aimed at, some of the stuff being released. And, I do think that, there are a lot of people with 3D printers at home who, are just having a crack. And, I don't see anything wrong with that, especially if it's sort of like a step up into something a little bit more complex or interesting later on down the track. There is criticism leveled at it and stuff, but I mean, the argument could still be made. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to stick it in your game. People are just having fun, and if they sell one or two to a couple of people who really like them and really enjoy putting them in their games, then no harm, no foul. Not everybody has the time or the money to invest. To create something, really complex or on a grandiose scale, and so, a lot of the time, they're just doing it in their spare time and knocking this stuff out. And, I think it's great to see the modding community grow in that way and pull more people in, and the more we could be supportive of those people, the better, I think.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's I don't know what the prices are on this stuff too, but if you can get something, cheap and put it in, like part of why we mod is because we like putting stuff in and kind of getting a feel for what we like. So definitely like more power to those that are, making stuff and getting stuff in people's hands early to have fun with. And I'm sure a lot of people out there are amassing a collection while they wait on their delayed LE to arrive. So they're going to have some choices to make whenever it all comes together. So I don't know. Are we good on Jaws? Have we hit enough on this for today, or did you have anything else?
Well, we've got some Jaws mods that I do. I'm just going to try and swap my camera though, mate, because I can't just keep turning it off.
I want to talk a little bit while you deal with that. I want to talk a little bit about.
You do that, please.
Pulp Fiction. So we had 2 Pulp Fictions arrive here in St. Louis at 2 different locations. Chris got these pretty early, put them out there. I've played that game about 10 times prior to this, both at TPF and then at Expo. I loved them there. I still love it. I mean, the package, the sound, I love how it's got this old school kind of like building up your bonus and a multiplier, but it feels very modern. So definitely like, for those who haven't played it, it's going to be getting out there soon, hopefully, and definitely check it out. I would say do as much as you can to play it where you can really hear it. There's some really cool like transitional sound effects that I love about it. The lighting package goes like full red, full green, and different. Who's this guy?
Yeah, I'm not as pretty with this camera, but at least it's not going to turn off. So
lo-fi. But yeah, it's a great experience. I'm hearing internationally, there's a lot of people very excited about it because it does capture that American nostalgia. I just rewatched the movie. Oh my God, that movie is brutal. I forget
Yeah, mate,
when you
it
watch
is
it when you're younger,
intense.
you're
Yeah,
desensitized to this stuff, but
I know that's the
it's
thing,
a
right?
trip.
Like, I
It's a
mean,
trip.
I saw it recently as well, and I mean, that basement scene is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And like, so how old were you when you watched that? I think I must have been like 19 or something.
Yeah, I was probably in that range. It was one of those like,
Yeah,
okay, we're in college now. We got to watch all these crazy
yeah,
flicks.
yeah. I don't remember being that shocked by it
No,
when I was
not as
19.
shocked as I was watching it.
No.
There is some PC stuff that wouldn't fly anymore, but that isn't the shocking part. It's more just like, the
Yeah,
mind of Quentin Tarantino.
yeah,
And it's
100%.
also strange watching the movie and then going back and playing the game because the game is completely desensitized.
Yeah, yeah, for
There's a
sure,
reason.
for
There's a
sure.
reason. There's no screen on that game.
Yeah, exactly,
Uh,
exactly. But yeah, look, I mean, I'm 100% with you on that one. Like when I first played it, um, and actually, like, so I've just recently put two new games in my shed. One of them is Iron Maiden, and the other one is Alice Cooper's. Right now, Alice Cooper's is like a typical sort of spooky title and stuff. It's a little bit weird and a little bit, and so my first 5 or 6 games on it, I was like, oh, geez, I'm not really enjoying this. I'll probably move it on soon or whatever. And then it kind of just started clicking, and I started really enjoying it. It's still got incredibly tight shots. It's still a little bit buggy in the way that it behaves to certain things. You have to turn it off and on again a few times, but it's a fun game. Like it's gonna last a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
yeah. So we
But
gotta. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep
yeah,
going.
I was gonna reference this, but Pulp Fiction, when it didn't have that period where you're coming to grips with it, where you're like thinking to yourself, did I make the wrong purchase here? First game, straight out of the bat, I was like, this is incredible. And I know that's not going to be everyone's reaction, but certainly when I was at TPF last year, you could palpably read that same reaction in most of the people who were playing it. There was a buzz and an excitement for it. To reference the comment here, would it get boring in a home environment? Sure. I think if it was your only game, in the same way that TNA, which in my opinion is one of the best pinball machines ever made, would get old in a home environment if it was your only title. But in terms of it being like just an adrenaline fest, and I sort of put Pulp Fiction in that sort of same category. It's brutal and hard and annoying and difficult, and for me that's what makes it fun, because it sort of keeps you coming back in for more. Yeah, I think if you had a couple of games and it was your only single level, then for sure it would be amazing in a home environment. I'm looking forward to having it.
Yeah, I want this game. I want this in my collection, and the reason I think it fits, especially pertaining to that question, is that most of the games that I have, Bond and now very much in that category, are very long games. And I recently encouraged my dad to get an EM Fire Queen. And it's a great game, and one of the reasons that I like it is because it's quick, and of course
Yeah,
it's very quick because EMs are very
yeah,
quick. But I
yeah.
kind of feel like something that gives you that pop factor, a modern game, but is a quicker game. And I guess maybe it will end up being long. I don't know, but it seems like it's shorter. And also shout
For
out
sure it is.
to
Yeah,
Jay Leakley on his amazing sound mods for various
absolutely.
Stern
Yeah,
titles.
yeah.
Great to have you here. So yeah, we went on a tangent there. These games are going to roll slow, right? They're going to come out to everybody pretty slow, Pulp Fiction, but I'm excited to see what comes there. What do
Yeah,
we got next? Are we talking about a couple of mods? And I guess we're going to hit some
yeah.
we're going to hit
So let me,
some
yeah. So
draw.
let me, yeah, some Jaws ones. Let me just quickly try and window. Okay. See, all our windows are all over the place now. I'm very sorry,
Oh
everyone.
man, we got some good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, let me see. Okay. Yeah. So okay, this is the first one. Where'd it go? Here. Okay. Yeah. So can you see?
I can see
Why is that
a
not?
bunch of
Yeah,
ads,
it's not.
basically.
Yeah, it's not showing anything, is it?
Do we not have the right one? It's the one with like the 12
No.
images.
Yeah, here we go.
Davey's flustered, guys. Give him a minute to read through.
This has been the like least good tech like show we've ever done for sure. I'm so sorry, team. We'll get there in the end. At least we can do it with good humor.
No more apologizing.
With a smile on our
just
face.
talk.
yeah. Okay. So this is look. Okay. So you weren't aware of this when we talked before the show, were you, Rob?
No.
I mean, what's everyone on about? We've got a ball-eating shark, and it's from Stern, and it consists of a spare pinball and a bit of VHB tape. Like, why is everyone concerned that the shark doesn't eat the pinball when we've got this high-class mod from? Anyway, so I wanted to show this to everybody. This ships with the game. This is a little service bulletin that looks like it's been put together in about 3 minutes. And it consists of a ball and a bit of tape. Now, I was saying to you, and you've not heard this expression before, but in the UK, we call this a piss take. Now, any of the UK crew who's tuning in will know what I'm talking about. This is a piss take. They are taking the piss. I think that they have seen the memeness that's been going on in the background with the shark ball eater, and they're doing this as a bit of a joke, because I can't believe that they're serious when they put this out.
So
but anyway,
this is actually shipping with machines.
That's the word. Yeah, this will come with your game. This service bulletin, a spare pinball, and a bit of tape.
Okay, well, I think we just got to move on. That's good to know.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing. Look at this. Look what I found. Okay. Yeah. So somebody has recreated a guy called Ash Boucher has recreated the Jaws VHS cassette case with like LEDs and flashingness and stuff. And I think it's like, I don't even know if he knows where to put it, but it's going to be a topper maybe or something. But I mean, that's a cool idea, isn't it? That is a cool idea.
It looks great. Like the fact that it looks great just means just buy it and put it on your shelf. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it could go next to the game. It doesn't really matter where it goes. It's going to go somewhere. But I guess this is sort of harking back to what we were talking about earlier, just with the amount of stuff. And I just think a lot of people are inspired. Whether they've got a history with Jaws. Or whether Jaws just lends itself to this kind of stuff more than, other titles like, as you were saying before, Venom. But there just seems to be a ton of stuff to do. Before Jaws was released, I was saying, I don't think that there's going to be much for me, just because of the type of game that Jaws is or whatever. But it was the opposite. Like, I saw heaps of inspiration in there and a ton of stuff that, that could be done. And I think maybe a lot of other people are sort of experiencing the same thing. So yeah, there's that one. This one. So this has got a heap of action on Facebook recently. It's a replacement for the.
Could you give us a little Control plus action so we can see that?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah. Is that a bit better?
That's better.
Yeah. So and I can even go in a bit further. Oh no, I can't. That's going to highlight anyway. So. This is a replacement for the Jaws Pro Shark in a Cage. And it's really nice. Yeah, so it looks like a resin print. He's done a really good job on the sculpt work of the shark. And it's, a lot of people are, and it's got the obligatory ball. I wonder how many sharks we're going to see with balls in their mouths.
I want to translate that has a shark eating a ball. Like, let's go
I
all
want
the way.
wallpaper. I want wallpaper. I want to wallpaper my entire games room with sharks with balls in their mouths. I want a tracksuit that's just a pattern of sharks with balls in their mouths.
Now Don with Don's Pinball Podcast is going to accept the challenge of a tracksuit with the ball eating shark. I'm gonna text him right
please, now. Please. I will pay good money. I will swap mods for a tracksuit with a pattern of. But anyway, we are going to see a lot of sharks with balls in their mouths before this year's out. So prepare yourselves, everybody. Okay? Because we're not done. This is not the last you'll see. This is not the last shark you'll see. Not even in this podcast. Like, we've got more sharks with balls in their mouths. Look. We've got another shark with a ball in its mouth. Okay, this is from Sea Arcades. Chris, lovely fella, doing a lot of good mods at the moment. This is a shooter rod. So there's been a couple of shooter rods of a similar theme. Obviously, the shark head, makes for a good shooter rod if you're into those kind of things. Personally, I'm not, but a lot of people are. And, even if you're not, you can still appreciate that that's some pretty tidy work that he's done there. I think he sort of prints most of his stuff at home, but you wouldn't know by looking at that. I think because there's zero print lines. He's done some good work on the. I mean, how you'd explain that to your wife? Like, I would not be able to put that on one of my games. Let me tell you. But
so the shooter rod on the LE is very big.
Is it?
One thing that's interesting? So it's the buoy, I think, the yellow buoy. The skill shot is it's a fine touch, and one thing that I initially didn't like about it is its size, but it has this ridge near the end that you can kind of like grip and then let go at the right time. So, for these guys making these big, obnoxious, in a good way, right? Good obnoxious. Shooter rods, just think about the release point of it, please, because you might as well.
Yeah.
And we get lots of sexual innuendos we could do now. But,
of course, yeah. But we're not like that. We are above board and mature people. This is just another little one that's been done recently. It's a little life. What do you call them? Life thingy, buoy,
preserver.
Life buoy. Is that preserver? Life preserver. That's the thing that you wear, isn't it? Life preserver. Anyway, whatever.
Speaking of,
we all know what this is.
We did get a shout out on the Gary mod, which involves a life preserver. Kevin S.
Yeah.
I love that one because it's just fun, and there's not going to be multiple Garys. There's just going to be one. So if you want Gary, look him up.
What? Yeah. For sure. You should look Gary up. That's an amazing, that was, I'm in love with that one too. I think I'm definitely going to get one of those for my game. The only problem I have with it is that you're replacing, because I've got a premium, you'll be replacing one of those existing yellow, we're calling everything buoys at the moment, but if it's a buoy, then we're replacing one of those existing 3D buoys on the premium with it. So I think it probably goes better on the Pro where you're just replacing the flat plastic. But yeah, it's a great looking mod, and I really do want one. So yeah, we've got this one. It comes with or without rope. And then we've also got from Josh Hardy, he's done a little bit more work on his shooter rod as well. Both him and Sea Arcades have got competing shooter rods that are both sharks. I think, they're both going to have balls in their mouths. Let's be honest. That's just the way these things are going these days. So yeah, but yeah, top. I mean, that's some, really. Josh does amazing 3D print work, and this is no exception. And we've not seen it actually the final version yet, but that's just an announcement that he's made in the last couple of days. Yeah, and that's it. That's it for Jaws mods this week. Have we got any more? Are we gonna? Not at the moment, but are we done with Jaws? Are we done with Jaws?
I think
for this week for good.
Man, our system is like now there are two of you. Can't get this one off the screen. All right, let's see if we can get this back on
Let me
track.
see if I can.
All right. All
There
right.
we go. There we
So,
go.
so last week, again, we had some great engagement. One of the topics that we talked about was this idea of mods, like taking away from what we're getting actually in the machines. And Davey went out on a limb and said that they're not paying attention to us. They have no idea that we exist. They don't even know there are such thing as mods. I think that's a quote. You said
No.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah, that's
we
what it
did
is.
we did get a response, which was great. Like, so here it is. Basically, this viewer is saying, like, they're on record as saying, like, we're aware of the mods, and they're very much then, like, possibly responding to what they put into games. And I was curious if you kind of had a response, Davey.
Yeah. Look, I mean, this is, definitely true. And I think probably, of course, we're popular people. We do incredible work. Of course, they're going to be aware of the work that we're doing. I think probably, there's obviously a difference between being aware of what we're doing and incorporating that into their decision making. And to counter these comments, there's been, when we were looking at producing a dead post mod for the Pro of Foo Fighters, Jack Danger was on a stream and somebody in the comments asked him to comment on the fact that somebody was producing a dead post for the Pro. And his response to that in perfect Jack Danger way was, "Good luck with that," is what he said. Yeah, that was word for word what he said. He said, "Good luck with that." And we did it, and then it got taken away. And we could have pursued it using other technologies and stuff, but it just became too difficult, and we abandoned the project entirely. But for a while, we had it working using, a node boards. We were sort of sniffing the communication that was going in between the node boards. And, so all the switch data gets communicated in between all games. And it was really easy install because all you'd need to do is pull out one of the node board cables, stick it into the board, reroute that back to the original node board, and then you'd have all the switch data in the game. And it was great. And it was going to open up a lot of doors, for, both myself and other modders, so that you could suddenly get all the data in the game without having to use T-splice cables or, jumpers off node board headers or anything like that. It was super easy install. Now, within a couple of weeks, and of course, being me, I publicized it immediately. I was really proud of myself, and then it created a little bit of a mini furor. And look, the end result was in 2 weeks' time, they'd closed that protocol down. Whether they'd done it intentionally to screw us over, I don't know. Or whether they were just going to change the protocol anyway and encrypt it, and that was always in their game plan. But the end result is that they, intentionally or not intentionally, don't factor us into the equation. They're not helping us out. They're not making it easier for us to do stuff. And so if it is a business decision for them that modders are going to be able to do these things, then I would have thought they'd try and make it easier for us. They'd try and throw us a bone occasionally, or open up a port to get, access to that data more readily, so that we could produce better mods. And therefore, if our mods are helping sell the games, which I don't think they are, but if that is what people think is happening, then surely the better mods we can produce, the more games they'll sell. So, of course they're aware of us, but, I don't think we register on their radar in terms of, altering their business decisions at all.
Totally.
Unfortunately, I wish they did, but they don't. I don't think.
So we got another comment about FOMO, right? So we're seeing, you know, more and more in various capacities, whether it's the games themselves or mods, this idea of like a limited nature. We did not do this tactic for releasing our product for Twilight Zone or Godzilla. It's just kind of open, but we did do it for the Big Lebowski. So I thought it'd be good to kind of talk about this. So I actually had come up with the design for Big Lebowski like really early on when we started the company. I think it actually was before Godzilla design, and in looking at kind of the volume of the game, I mean, you know, by all accounts, we're looking at somewhere between 800 and 1,000 of these machines in existence. So as we looked at like how to get this into our manufacturing pipeline and how to do it in a way that didn't kind of distract us from working on building other things, and also just how many we thought we could sell. We thought 100 was a really, really good number for this. And ultimately the demand has shown that there's a lot more people that want it than the 100. But we've decided not to change that. But as far as like us trying to create FOMO, obviously, you know, there is value in just getting all the orders in, ordering all the parts, building the product, and being done with it in large part. So strategically, for us, again, because there are only so many machines, it made a lot of sense. So I guess that's just something I would like encourage everybody to understand is like, we also need to like, you know, in some cases kind of build and move on. And from a business perspective, like having all those orders, we can do them more efficiently. We can get them to people faster and do it at a little bit less cost, at which that product, you know, was kind of priced with that in mind, because we kind of did all the analysis and like, we can get 100 of these and this is what's going to cost. So I certainly have found myself kind of not loving this in a lot of cases, especially whenever it's 1,000 of something and it's actually not that limited. So that's when it's kind of frustrating. But yeah. I certainly appreciate the feedback, and we're going to kind of keep that in mind as we do these things, you know, rolling them out. I don't know yet. You haven't done anything limited yet yourself, have you, Davey?
No, but it's certainly like, you know, everything that you're saying there makes a lot of sense to me, and it's all conversations and thoughts that we've had around when do you finish? You know, when do you stop these things? When do you say that's it now? There's no more, and I'm moving on? Because you know, I think sometimes not what people fail to appreciate, because that sounds really shitty, but you know, if you've got like multiple mods open at any one time, like I currently do, you know, Lolly UFO, Tokyo Neon, you know, all the other Tokyo Neons that are coming in the pipelines, a bunch of other things, and you need to have them all ready to go, then, you know, for one that's like 3 mods down the build pipeline, we can only build one at a time, you know, and we maybe focus on that one for a month, and then we move on to the next one and do that for a month or whatever. So if something's like 3 mods down in that pipeline, you know, people are waiting 3 or 4 months to get to it. And you'll get emails from people asking, you know, how far away it is, and, you know, you're sort of giving best guesses as to when those things are coming up. But they're really just guesses. And so, you know, you're never going to, you know, hit those estimates 100% of the time. And so, you know, it's really complex, you know, making sure that, you know, you've got to have multiple garages holding all the parts for storage, you know, doing stock take on all those things to make sure that you're not running out of stuff. The more mods you add to that list, the more complex it all gets, and the more people will be emailing you about them, asking where they are. So in terms of just management and for your own sanity, it makes sense to just go, look, that one is done, and I'm moving on with those ones now. And you can just completely focus on what's ahead and not constantly sort of playing catch up. Because the longer things are open too, you know, the sort of the part numbers get all out of whack with each other. You know, you might order 50 less or 100, or you run out of something, so you order 200 of them because that's the only numbers they got. So all the part numbers go out of whack. You have to do stock take on everything. It just becomes really, really complex. And I remember, when I was first grappling with this issue, maybe 6 months or a year ago, I was reading a thread from Greg Medicinal, who was getting asked why he didn't revisit an old mod, considering there was a heap of demand for it. And his response was twofold. And one was that he didn't want to devalue people's existing purchases, particularly those people who had purchased them on the secondary market for more than what the original mod went for in the first place. And that happened to me too when I sort of stopped the Tokyo Neon. I got wind that a couple were trading for like big money. And so when I did reopen it again, I had to work out how to manage that, and so I ended up contacting all of those people that I'd heard about who were sort of in that situation, and, gave them a sweetener of some type, just to make sure that they didn't feel screwed over by me reopening, this mod again. But the secondary thing that he mentioned was just the creative side. He just said he wants to focus on new projects, just for his own sanity. Because, if you're constantly not being creative and you're just managing stock and you're putting stuff in boxes and you're just painting the same thing over and over again, that's when the mod grind really kicks in. It's the creative side that enables you to, get that excitement, get the enthusiasm, and keep moving forward.
Totally. Well, yeah, lots to think about with that. We did just get asked about Princess Bride. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up here. I know not everyone is maybe aware that this is from Multimorphic, which is a little bit of a smaller manufacturer. But yeah, Davey, what's your thoughts on this one? Any initial impressions?
I'm really excited to shoot it at TPF. So we'll get an opportunity to play it at TPF. I'm looking forward to spending some time on this and some more time on Final Resistance as well, which is the other Scott Danesi title. Scott Danesi is the designer for TNA and Rick and Morty, one of my favorite designers. I've only had one game on Final Resistance, and obviously, nobody's played this yet, but they're going to be at TPF, so I'm really excited to get a bit of time on it. And look, I have got a lot of love for Multimorphic, I've got to say. Not to the point of buying one, mainly because they're almost impossible to get in the UK for whatever reason. So I don't think one even exists here at the moment. But as a company, and what they've gone through, and the shit that they take all the time for the fact that it's not real pinball, etc., but they're still cracking on. They're still building games. I feel like they're getting better with every release. I'll be interested to see how this one shoots. I've got to say, I'm not like massively excited about it. Even though Princess Bride's probably not one of my favorite films of all time, but I've certainly got a lot of love for it. Particularly sort of the behind the scenes anecdotes about Andre the Giant and sort of his involvement in the project. Like, there's some really amazing stuff that I won't get into now, but just his involvement in the project is just very cool. He's a very sweet guy, and seeing him in it, and he's got one of the best lines of the movie, doesn't he? Anybody want a peanut? So I love him, and I love Princess Bride. But I guess for me, like, theme doesn't really sort of ever, like, I would never go, oh my God, my fate, like Goonies, right? I'm going to love Goonies. Goonies is the best movie of my childhood. But if a Goonies pinball came out, I wouldn't be like, I'm buying it regardless. Like, I would have to see it and get excited about it before I bought it. Because, like, for me, just watching Goonies clips on a pinball machine isn't going to be enough for me to buy a pinball machine. Do you know what I mean? Like, theme doesn't win the day for me.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I've been talking about Goonies for a while. I am definitely buying that sight unseen. If I guess at the time it was right. The promo video on this one did not get me excited at all. I think that they didn't do a great job there, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on the other side of that, which is like, I want to play it. It looks like a nice machine. It does seem like they're evolving. in a number of ways. They're getting another license, which is great. Like, you know, I think that there's a lot of great things about what Americans doing, but it's like, I think you got to go licensed with this stuff. I mean, certainly if you want people like getting exciting about modding it, you need it to be licensed, which I think as collectors, you kind of, not everybody's a modder, but you want people excited about doing stuff. Like there's no way anybody's modding Galactic Tank Force purely on the basis of they're not excited about the theme. You know, it's like, how could you be?
No.
Which of course, you know, you can't throw out Medieval Madness and Attack because like those were great games. That's why they're being modded.
But by the same token, that and it is down to sales too. Well, at least for the big modders who are trying to do it commercially. It is about the commercials. You know, you've got to look at how many machines were sold and to work out how big your market is and to work out whether it's worth focusing on it or not.
Well, yeah, and then there's other sides of the story too, because like with Lebowski, it's should tell a different story. But I mean, if you look at the pure numbers, you know, if there is 800 of those things and then we sold 100 toppers, that's the percentage wise is off the hook. But also you've got
that's crazy,
very passionate owners of that game for a lot of different reasons. So there's definitely different flavors of this stew. But in the case of, I guess back to the point, like good for them for bucking up on the IP. It looks pretty damn cool.
And what about the so let's have a think of what about, so nobody, as far as I know, outside of like, you know, when you're talking about mods, multimorphic is a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Because people produce full game modifications for existing modules in multimorphic. So the kart racing one has a bunch of different games that you can play on that module. And you know, I'm not overly familiar with the architecture and the platform, but yeah. So when you talk about modding, there's the game mods for multimorphic, and there's a bunch of those. But as far as I'm aware, nobody has actually produced like, you know, I guess a classic pinball mod for a multimorphic game up to this point. And so what would be interesting, I suppose, is I guess knowing what their sales numbers are like. You know, would a game like Princess Bride, you know, leaving aside Final Resistance, I mean, it's a Scott Tanesian, so he sort of sells a lot of games based on his name alone, but it's unlicensed. Weird Al, you know, is a bit of a weird license. You know, I can't imagine there's that many Weird Al fans about that would just buy it based on his name alone. But Princess Bride's another kettle of fish, isn't it? That's like, I would say that IP is a step up from everything that they've produced up until this point. So it'll be really interesting to see how buzzy it is around the multimorphic tent.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know it's not going to be probably too buzzy, because what we don't even know is how buzzy is Labyrinth going to be. And like, if that one isn't buzzy, then obviously multimorphic's never going to hit that level, because that game's got so much momentum. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. I mean, I don't know. Have you even been paying attention to that one at all? Is there
to Labyrinth or to Princess Bride? Labyrinth modding
on the mod side. Yeah.
There's like zero as far as I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure there's a Labyrinth mod thread on Pinside. But having said that, I haven't been following the Labyrinth main thread either, so I'm not up to speed with it. That'll be some homework for me for next week.
Homework. Speaking of next week, we're going to talk about TPF. Texas Pinball Festival is March, I think, 13th to 16th. We will be there, Alec and I, and then Davey, you're coming too, flying over.
Hi, mate. Yeah, we've... not from Australia, bro. How many times do I need to tell you?
I said not.
I live in London.
I said
okay, so that was my hearing then.
You're flying over from not Australia.
Oh, okay, man. I feel bad now for coming down on you so hard. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of us coming over from not Australia. There's I think about 8 of us or something. So Paul Jazzboosh, another modder, is coming over as well. And yeah, a bunch of sort of the UK crew. I saw a few people, Silver Palo in the chat earlier, who's coming as well. Yeah, it's going to be really good fun. Big crew of us, and I'm super excited to play all the games and catch up with everybody. And I think we're going to have a big show next week, kind of leading into TPF, aren't we? And do a lot of TPF chat. And also, putting the word out if anybody wants to come and say hello to us. Rob, you're going to actually have a stall there, aren't you? And
yeah,
selling product?
We'll be there. It's there somewhere. So we'll be on site, and you can check out our stuff. And so
I'll probably just be hanging around you, sort of on the outskirts with the beer. Won't I?
Yeah, come stop by and say what's up. I mean, like, we're on the lookout for cool stuff. So if you guys are there with your things, or if you're seeing good things, let us know. So we'll be airing that Monday before the show, and then we'll be hitting the road not too long after that. Looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah, it'll be great, man. Very excited.
So we're gonna wrap this one up. Going to try to talk a little less about Jaws on our next show. Unless, who knows, something cool comes out. We're going to cover it too. Tune in. We'll be doing episode 10. It's in 2 weeks. And if you got any thoughts, any questions, any feedback, put them in the comments. We're going to do this kind of like viewer reaction thing again next week. Davey, always a pleasure, buddy.
Yeah, I had fun, man. Yeah, I'm going to sort my camera out for next time too.
You look great. You're fine.
Always, bro. Always.
All right. Signing off, everybody. Have a
see you later.
week.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. See ya. Bye.